Good afternoon. Of course, I almost forgot to adjust the mic after coming after the big man. And one thing I didn't inherit from my parents was height, if I did inherit other things. So the Honorable Santia Bradshaw, who I know as San, of course. San and I, practice in the same law chambers for over a decade before we first went in cabinet. And we, of course, became elected members of parliament on the same day, on February 21st, 2013, a month after Santia just reminded me this foundation was established. And on behalf of the constituents of St. James North, I want to thank Santia, as I did in Parliament during the estimates debate. I think the second reading, in fact, of the financial statements for the roads that have finally been done in St. James North. Finally, after 11 years as Member of Parliament, in fact 12 from the time I became a nominated candidate of the Barbados Labour Party, trying to get some roads done. And I count 12 roads that finished since December last year. Well, one not finished, Rotdunda. And boy, there's still hope that will be finished. And some people here live on Rotdunda, Santia, like Stacy. But I mean, if someone were to ask me or tell me in December that so many roads by end of April would have been finished in St. James North, I would have told them that they had to be dreaming a nonsensical dream. So thanks to Santia for that. Honorable Senator Chad Blackman here, and Chad attended one of these programs, and the directors of Clarkson Foundation, to whom I'm indebted, and directors, NIS, Ms. Kim Truder, Child Care Board, Roseanne Ashby, featured speaker, Ms. Shamel Rice. And Shamel, I want to commend you for the work you've been doing in our country among women who are most vulnerable and who are most disadvantaged. And it's because of that, well, we asked you to give the featured speaker at the opening, but I think you are out the island, so happy to have you here this afternoon. And then the participants, most important people here today, who will receive your certificates, and all of those who assisted in the program, and of course the senior management of this church. We thank you for, again, allowing us your space to have graduation. We had our last graduation here as well, almost 2 years ago. And the media, of course, thank you for attending and agreeing to cover this event. I first wish to praise the participants who, about only half are here. I know the rain would have kept back some, you know how it is. Today is the first day of the hurricane season. And we all know, and at the start of every hurricane season, pray to the Lord Almighty, or to the highest spirit, whichever we believe in, that Barbados is spared the adverse effects of a hurricane or storm as happened, 3 years ago. But this is typical of the weather that we're going to get for the next few months. Today starting out bright, bright, bright in St. James North, certainly. And now look at what's happening. But God will see us through. And just everyone prepare. Do your best and prepare, and make sure your surrounding environments are clear and clean of the bush. But participants, I'm proud of you. As the 9 weeks of the program went on, and then of course we had 2 additional weeks to prepare for mock interview and then actual mock interviews at Mount Zion's missions. I could see the increase in self-confidence and self-esteem that you had. And, I always measure how successful a program is by looking at the body language of the participants, and you could see the increase as we went through a lot of modules. I'm not going to steal Simone's thunder. Simone will speak on behalf of the graduates, and she comprehensively covered very succinctly the programs that we went through, all different aspects to try to help, not only in parenting, for which we had three courses, 3 full mornings, but also in other aspects of personal development and in child care, and making yourself putting yourself in a better position to be a parent. Because I always say parenting, is one of the most challenging tasks in life. And you don't read about it in a book. People write about it in books, but, nothing substitutes for the hands-on experience of being a parent. And I commend those who have more than 2, that is the truth, because I don't know why I would have done with more than 2. 2 were a handful. One there, Erica, the elder one, and she now knows what it is to have a child herself. And what I liked about it, many of y'all looked forward on a Saturday morning to come into the program. Even if it meant for 3 hours, you could just get away from the normal challenges of everyday life, of which, believe you me, there are many. And at the end of the program, in fact, some of the participants said, well, I really gonna miss having to wake up in the morning, put on clothes, and go to Gordon Greenwich Primary School in the morning to be at this program and to learn and to mix with other parents, primary women, obviously with similar challenges as each other, and to talk and go. And when you look at the chat, everybody friendly with each other. So as I see it as a member of Parliament, this is one of my main tasks, to try and increase the personal development of individuals. So it's always a joy to be involved in these type of programs, which we do every other year, except obviously for the 2 or 3 years we had COVID. Because I believe that it's a member of Parliament's major duty not to give people a fish. Yes, we give the food vouchers, as you all know, the food hampers, the school clothes, food, school supply vouchers, and everything else, the handouts. But, it is to try and put the constituents, your people, in a position where they don't have to come to you for that kind of assistance, and where they can become a bit more self-sufficient, be able to have a confidence in a job interview, to be able to impress the interviewers. I'd like to, of course, give praise to Rhonda Hudson, Brian, who is here, the facilitator, and she's been involved in every program that we've had. Initially, together with Miss Kim Truda, ironically here, when they were together at NICE. I think they did the first 2 programs, and Rhonda was an officer there, and then Rhonda on her own when NICE was dissolved. Couldn't do it without you, Rhonda. I would recommend you to anybody as human resource personal development facilitator. As we all know, I was a bit disappointed we only have one man here, Fabian. And Fabian attended all the sessions. It was real difficult to get men, that is the truth. The last program we had, without the parenting component, 40% of the people there every Saturday were men. And we had about twice as many as we had this time in terms of numbers. But then someone like Santia would say, well, Eddie, when the economy going well, people in St. James North getting whack. It's the people in other parts that still having difficulty, but people in St. James North on the Gold Coast, they tell me, get work when the economy is booming, as it is improving now, as we all can see by factual evidence. and the people in St. James North, therefore working in hospitality and hotels and guest houses, I accept that. So the truth is that on Saturday mornings, there's some people who you would ordinarily have expected to attend, had to work. And that's good. We're glad for that. So that was one of the reasons why we didn't have as many men this time. And in fact, for some of the women, I had to write letters to their employers asking them, please give them the Saturday morning off, let them shift to Saturday afternoon or another time so they can attend the program. And yes, we were facilitated in that regard. Like to praise, of course, the assistants who came and helped on Saturday mornings, because what we said, and we know the challenges of finding someone to keep your children on a Saturday morning, especially because in some cases, we all know the grandmother's young too, and the grandmother's doing the thing too, might have gone out the night before the Friday night. So we said, bring your children. We can organize childcare for them. So that was an important aspect. So invariably on a Saturday, we had 10 to 15 children there, and people, constituents to look after them, to play with them, but also to do education with them and to read with them and mathematics. And that was an important part, because one of the challenges of women, and especially single women in Barbados, we know, is child care. Who can look after your child, and you have to find somebody. And obviously as a government, we try our best in terms of nurseries, but we can't do it all. So we were happy to have that aspect of the program as part of it, and transportation as well, to provide transportation to and fro the sessions for those who need it. This is the fifth similar Clarkson Foundation program, but with this parental aspect to it, parental education, something like I said, we all need. And what I will propose to the directors next time is to have not only parents, but those who you would reasonably expect to become parents within the next couple of years in the foreseeable future, because they too need some help with parenting in terms of being expectant parents. And I will propose to try and get some of those younger persons involved in a similar program. It is axiomatic that the government has recently launched its community development program 4 weeks ago, or 4 Saturdays ago, community parenting program, which was first enunciated by the Honorable Prime Minister in last year's estimates or budget speech, that community parenting is very important, where government will intervene in communities with parent development programs. And that was launched recently under the Ministry of Crime Prevention in the Attorney General's office. And we were happy as a foundation to lead government in this regard. As you all remember, Ministers Charles Griffith and Corey Lane came to the opening and were very impressed, and both said, boy, look, Eddie, we got to copy some of this. And when I looked at their cohorts, and we sent them the outline, and they've taken some of them on board. So we look forward to the spreading of that. I know government has had a program in Speightstown recently on parent development. So this is something that we are glad to be involved in. I also wish to commend the Ministry of Crime Prevention and Tanglewood Trust, Sandy Lane Trust, who would have provided some funding for this program. Because as Chad has said, a foundation like this has to look for partners, can't do it all, especially partners in financing, but also in terms of technical support. And Ministry of Crime Prevention and Sandy Lane Tanglewood Trust were happy to be able to assist in that regard. On behalf of the constituents, I want to thank the directors of Clarkson Foundation. I couldn't do this by myself. It is always great to have a foundation, people, directors, people who you know you can depend on and who will back you in anything. And I'm indebted to you all for this. As my wife said, the chairman of the board, we will look to have one more fundraiser later this year, certainly for the benefit of the people of St. James North. After the next election, we will still have the foundation, but you could appreciate that Chad speaks about expanding to the whole of Barbados. Don't know about that. Maybe in terms of disabilities, for that one, to look for a national profile in terms of disabilities, which, as everybody knows, is my core public policy issue. So in terms of future projects, you're all are well aware that summer is soon up. We're soon near the end of the semester, final semester, and obviously we'll be distributing school vouchers again in August to those most vulnerable parents, and then we'll be carrying out, as we always do, the graduating classes of St. Albans and Gordon Greenwich, together with Minister Colin Jordan, who will carry out, children from St. Peter. From the time he became a nominated candidate, we've been doing that jointly. And then, of course, school prizes for graduations, etc. So there's still work to be done. But, of course, we will have a fundraiser later in the year to raise funds to finance for beyond that period. So I've spoken enough, and I thank you all for being present through the rain, and we look forward to you getting your certificates and to Simone's speech. Thank you. Obliged.